Okay, is this thing on? Well, as you know, I put the finger on the button and pressed it. So anyway, what do I want to talk about? I gotta be careful what I say because anything I say can be against me in a court of law, right? So anyway, let's talk about what do you want to talk about? As if this was interactive. I think it's just more like a monologue. And you might be watching this from 1,000 years in the future if I'm lucky. I'll be dead and gone by then, right? Hopefully. Maybe not. I don't know. Let's talk about energy. Yeah, let's talk about energy. Okay, so pretty much all our energy comes from the sun. You might say, well, what about oil? Well, that's just stored sun energy. You might say, what about nuclear? Well, when the solar system first formed, actually, you might have got me on that. I don't know how nuclear energy would come straight from the sun, but it's based on sort of sun technology. The sun uses fusion and fission. And we're on the fission side. We don't have fusion worked out just yet. So anyway, let's get off of that. I need to bone up on that information again anyway. The thing about my mind, I only have so much in there at a time. And then the rest I gotta refresh and then displace other stuff that I don't use. Use it or lose it. So basically energy. Basically for us, on our economic scale, the sun is a source of energy. Okay, so what the hell does that mean? Well, you take crops, you take fuels, you take all this heat, all this, and you turn it into an economy. All right, you've heard of the petroleum economy. Well, I'm talking about the sun economy. You've heard of the petrodollar. I'm talking about the sun dollar. All right, so we have devices called solar panels, which will convert sun energy directly into electricity, right? What does that mean? Well, here in the U.S., most places have utility companies, and by law, there's usually some deal where you can sell electricity to the utility companies. Under certain conditions, you can work it all out and figure it all out. So you can literally take the sun, turn it into energy on our scale, and then sell that sucker. You're selling an energy harvest. So basically, you turn sunlight into money. You use the money to buy whatever you want, right? Maybe buy some more solar harvesting equipment and keep going. Why not? So, or you take the sun energy and grow some crops, some fruits, some vegetables, some grains. Or you take whatever plant material you grow and feed it to some animals and have some animal energy, whether it's pigs, goats, sheep, cows, chickens. Chickens are awesome. So anyway, basically everything comes off the sun. So you need to start thinking about the sun economy. What can you do to tap into the sun, right? I think that's the future of things. And you've heard of middleman, markups, stuff like that. Basically, between you and the sun, there's a lot of middlemen and markups. Time too. If you think about what you got to go through to get a hold of petroleum, for example, there's a lot of time between you and that petroleum, and that sunlight's locked into that petroleum. Here we have some wood. That's sunlight, and that stored sunlight. So that wood's like a battery. You release that energy by burning it. Here we have a bush tree thing. That's sunlight that made that leaf bloom right there. This is a kind of flowering plant. It puts off really nice fragrant flowers. But it's let me see if I can get this into focus. It's got some brutal spines on there, so I'm not handling that sucker. So anyway, so the sun is making all this stuff happen, and giving us light and heat and all that. So figure out ways to make that sun help you out. You can grow crops. You can grow wood that you can turn into thermal energy for like the hard winters and things. So basically everything comes off of the sun. Basically everything you look at, probably the sun had a direct influence, except maybe nuclear. But I'm sure that if you looked hard enough, you'd find a tie into there. But I can't just go start a nuclear plant somewhere. I can start other sorts of plants. You know, even coal with sun. And so think of the sun dollar, the sun economy. Because if you can tap into the sun and make it work for you, that's less you got to buy off the petrodollar. And heck, you can convert solar dollars into petrodollars if you have to. And the sun is probably going to last longer than you are. And so if you can harness that sucker, you can get rich. Or at least not have to be tied up with the petrodollar. Because nobody I know has an oil well in their backyard, but everybody I know has access to the sun. So use your access wisely. Even if you're just planting a little strawberry in a pot, that's that little strawberry. And I recommend Seascape. I need to get some going again myself because they're all weather, all season proliferators. That's what NASA used in their astronaut fresh fruit project. Seascape strawberries. You can get off eBay. Shipped to you by route. That's one of my other projects. Anyway, a little strawberry plant will take that sun and make you some fresh, delicious fruit. Even if it's just on a windowsill or something like that, or your porch, or so put that sun to use. Small scale first, and then upgrade it, upscale it. You won't regret it. It's a learning process. You can't do it overnight. It takes a while to do the transition. But just think about what I said. The solar dollar. Tap in. I think you can kind of see the sun. It's going down. But the solar dollar. You can figure it out. You're doing yourself a big favor, and like that. So besides, I think everybody's going to have to do that anyway. The price of petroleum is not going to, well, they're not making any more of it supposedly. So it's a scarcity issue, supply and demand. There isn't a lot of demand for the sun because it's in ample supply. Isn't that weird? But yeah, it could probably do just about everything that petroleum would do for you. You know, you got to work up to it first. But anyway, so it's 10-minute limit. This is Military Industrial Museum. Thought I'd have a little talk. I was feeling fresh and presentable on camera, and a little bit of an idea for you. Hopefully, it gets your mind working, or maybe I'm preaching to the crowd. So anyway, subscribe, like, and help me out, and I'll keep moving on this if you guys keep liking it. Thanks much. What the hell? No, this one's over 10 minutes. Anyway, I'm gonna cut this short anyway. I don't know what's up with this little. Seems like if I have a lot of space on my SD card, it will keep going. But if I don't have much, it limits at 10. And I have no control over that, so. I'm getting over some kind of flu I caught with some bacterial infection spreading around. Pretty happy if I can knock this out without using antibiotics. It means my immune system is in tip-top shape. So anyway, what to add? Well, birds are adding something. I don't know if you can hear it. They're just tweeting. That pigeon's killing her does. I don't know. Maybe nuance, but I forgot. So yeah. Anyway, what made me think of this stuff? Well, I got some old books from the 1970s talking about the oil crisis and the Arab oil embargo, and they were freaking out. I got this old RV, and I'm busy restoring it. I don't know if you can see it. 1974, Cortez. The oil embargo basically imploded the Cortez RV venture. Became too expensive for most Americans to even think about because the way oil was. So the trick is, don't fall for that again. Get completely away from being dependent on one single thing. That's a single source failure or something like that. Single point of failure. No. You want backups. You want triplicates and alternates and emergency systems, all kinds of stuff. You don't want a single point of failure. That means you're vulnerable. So, not just my channel, but there's a lot of YouTube channels which will guide you to doing alternative energy. I've done wind energy myself, but what do you do when it's not windy? Like right now, you're up the creek. I find that solar is more reliable than wind. This is the way, at least for my region. You get more sunny days than you get windy days, so if you do the math. But I highly endorse any kind of, as far as wind, like get the let me show you what I'm talking about here. This is kind of like unrehearsed and like that. I think you guys like that. I like it. You don't have to freaking waste more time. But let me show you what I'm talking about. Come on. Alright, do you see that? There's very little wind right now. Can you see it? Very little wind right now. I was hoping it'd be enough wind to show that sucker moving. But that's a anemometer. This is part of a weather station kit that kind of failed. But the point of me showing you that is that's the sort of wind generator you probably want, because from my point of experience, the wind generators that move this way seem to have a lower threshold for activation than the ones that look like windmills. Maybe we'll wait for the wind to pick up. That's something to think about. But yeah, not everything's going to cooperate. So do your research. Wind is a finicky item, plus it's moving parts. More points they could fail on you. Where solar, there's no real moving parts, unless you have one of those tracking systems, which, you know, more complex something is, the chances are the more it'll break on you. So my system's a fixed system, and so far so good. This is like filler info. Anyway, what was I talking about? Oh yeah, the sun economy. So yeah, under the sun economy, I think places on the planet close to or near or on the equator would be richer than, say, places where there's less sunlight falling on the earth. So that's something to think about too. It could cause a power shift to the countries on the equator if they learn how to harvest the sun. And like I said, it'll grow food for you. Primary foods like plants, or secondary foods like animals, and insects and things, if you like that. Crustaceans and stuff. What else? It'll grow food. It'll give you energy, give you heat. You can even use energy from the sun to cool. Obviously, it's just a matter of conversions. Everything's conversions. You can convert just about anything from the sun. It's hard to make oil from the sun, though. It takes a while. There might be a way to do it I'm just not aware of. You can use the sun to make hydrogen, though. What I'm looking at personally is using the sun's heat to make biogas, from the natural digestion of bacteria on plant matter. I'd like to get into that, because that biogas is pretty much like methane, and you can use methane as like a substitute for propane and natural gas and things like that. That'd be very interesting to get into. So anyway, just think about how much money you spend on petroleum. Like last year, I think I did my numbers, and I spent over $4,000 on petroleum just for transiting around, just for our daily life. $4,000 on petroleum. That is a major factor I need to knock down. And if I can swing it, I'd get a solar powered vehicle, and really knock that down. But I will eventually. We'll figure it out. So anyway, basically it's all about transition. If you can grow a lot of your own food, or at least some, even if you grow 10% of your own food, or even if you grow 5% or 1%, that's like petrodollars in your pocket. And eventually, it's like the snowball effect. It starts as a little snowball, but you roll it down a hill, it collects more snow, and pretty soon it's a big old Indiana Jones looking avalanche of snow coming down. So basically, start small, you work up, work down, I guess in the case of a snowball, and start moving. You're moving some petrodollars into solar dollars, because energy is real. There's no mistaking the real from the unreal. And you'll thank yourself. So just some ideas. I'm gonna end this video now. I'm gonna put that in my mouth. Don't know where it's been. Just anyway. Take care. And I said who I am and what I do. So from there, let's end this. Thank you again.